father is sitting at your kitchen table like it's any other Tuesday night, working on your math homework for today. As your dad hollers at you, a squared plus b squared equals c squared, you roll your eyes at how crazy he's acting over some dumb math problem. Shockingly, out of the corner of your eye, you notice a fire engulfing your neighbor's house across the street. Would you have the guts to do what 14-year-old Marcos Ugarte did? Marcos and his father jumped up right away and sprinted across the street. When they got there, Alex Ma, the father of the family, informed them that everyone got out safely except for his 8-year-old son, Cody. Marcos then got a hold of a ladder, climbed to the top story of the house, knocked out a window, and crawled in to find Cody. He then guided the boy through the flames and down the ladder to safety. When asked about his great act of heroism and bravery, Marcos replied, "I don't really consider myself a hero. I think I did what anyone would have done in that situation." This way of thinking is one of many things that makes a hero. Dictionary.com defines hero as someone who's noted for courageous acts or nobility of character. But I don't really agree with their definition. To me, you're just as much, if not more, of a hero if you don't get recognized for it. The dictionary makes it sound like if you save someone's life, but no one knows about it, you're not a hero. We all know this is false. According to the dictionary definition, to be considered a hero, you have to have done something great, like win a Nobel Peace Prize or cure cancer. But heroes are so much more than this. Heroes are the quiet people who try to make someone's day or make the world better, one step at a time, one deed at a time, one day at a time. Personally, I think someone who is caring, thoughtful, and does many little things every day has more of a heroic impact than a war hero, brain surgeon, or life-saving firefighter. But don't get me wrong, these lifesavers are very much heroes too. Their heroic acts require bravery, humility, and hard work. These citizens are no braver than you or I. They would be as scared as I would at failing their country, letting the patient die, or failing to save the family from the fire. But the difference between them and me is they are able to stifle their fear for long enough to get the job done and do what is needed. They are the type of heroes that step to the plate, bases loaded, with 2 outs in a tie game in the 9th inning, and smack it out of the park. But if they are truly heroes, they don't do it for themselves. They do it out of love. When Marcos ran into his neighbor's home, he didn't do it for himself to be considered a hero. Marcos is a humble hero, someone who does noble deeds but doesn't do them to make themselves look better. Personally, I think these humble heroes have the most heroic impact on community. If Marcos would have stayed home and finished number 15 on his math homework while Cody died, no one would have known he had a chance to save him. But he did it anyway. Marcos is that family's hero. A hero is different from each and every person's point of view. Marcos is the Ma family's hero. But the lady at the electric plant that let the struggling family wait an extra week to pay their bill would be their hero. To a kindergartner, a hero would be the 8th grader to talk to them and give a high five. A boy with Down syndrome finds a hero in the boy in his class who chooses to sit with him at lunch. A teenage girl suffering from depression finds a hero in the popular kid in her class who decides to stop and tell her she looks nice today. Without even realizing it, he performed an act of heroism. That's what I think is great about all these heroes. From Marcos in the fire, the 8th grader that talks to the kindergartner, or the war hero that fights for his country. They do it out of love for others. Marcos for the love of his community, the 8th grader for the love of his school and classmates, and the war hero for the love of his country. Real heroes are humble people who are full of love. Heroes are loved. Thank you.